Welcome in, everybody. One of the most confusing calculations out there for a lot of people is for them trying to determine how their Social Security will get taxed. Now, everybody knows that not 100% of your benefit when it comes to Social Security will get taxed in any given year. If it is, you may want to amend your tax return because that is not possible. However, there is an equation that you have to follow in order to figure out what amount of your Social Security gets taxed. And then if that's greater than another equation, you take the smaller of the two. And it can become really, really confusing, but there is an easy rule of thumb that most people are able to follow when they try to determine how much of their Social Security will be taxed in any given year. So let's take a look. According to the IRS, the quick way to see if you will pay taxes on your Social Security income is to take 1/2 of your Social Security benefit. So if you're making $20,000 a year from Social Security, 1/2 of that would be $10,000, and add that amount to your other income. So that would be wages and taxable interest and tax exempt interest. So if you have muni bond interest that normally isn't taxed, you have to add that back into this equation. So you add all those income sources up plus 1/2 of your Social Security, and you come up with what is known as your combined income. Now, for the 2021 tax year, single filers who have a combined income of $25,000 to $34,000 will pay 50% on their benefit. And if you're above that $34,000 threshold, you'll pay 85%. For married couples, it's $32,000 and below, you pay nothing. Between 32 and 44, you pay 50. And above 44, 85% of your Social Security benefit will be taxed at whatever ordinary income tax rate you fall into that year. However, and this is important to know, that you will never pay taxes on more than 85% of your Social Security income. So keep all of that in mind. Let's go over an example. Let's assume that all of your Social Security income in 1 year is $19,824. Well, again, 50% of that is $99,12. We add in all your other income sources, again, taxable interest, muni bond interest, wages, and everything else that's at the top of your 1040 tax return. And we'll assume in this case it's $93,121. Well, you take that number and add it to 1/2 of your Social Security benefit after you adjust for any income adjustments, which you could find on your Schedule 1. And in this case, that combined income number that we talked about before is $103,033. Well, you have that Schedule 1 adjustment, which is $300. Again, and that came from last year's $300 freebie charitable gift adjustment. And now you have $102,733. Now, this is the number that gets run through the 0, 50%, 85% benefit tax equation. So the first $32,000, if you're a married couple, is completely tax-free. So we take that off of the $102,000. The next $70,733 gets applied within that $32,000 to $44,000 threshold. So that is $12,000 that will get taxed at 50%, which means $58,733 is remaining in this example. So again, 50% of that $12,000 is $6,000. That is the first number we have to be aware of. And then 85% of what's remaining, which is that $58,733, will get taxed at 85%, which is $49,923. So $49,923 plus the $6,000 plus the 0 that gets taxed underneath that $32,000 combined income amount will get us to $55,923 of your combined income will get taxed, unless your total Social Security benefit, 85% of it is less than that amount we just came up with, which is the case. So your $19,824 is less than the $55,923. So the total amount of your Social Security benefit that gets taxed is just 85% of your entire benefit in this equation. Well, what would be the break even? So if you take line 1, which is your total Social Security income, and you multiply that by 85%, we get the $16,850. We subtract it by 6,000, which gets us to $10,850. And again, that 6,000 is 50% of that first threshold between 32,000 and 44. And we divide that by 85%, which is 12,768. and then we add it back to $32,000, which is the first part of the Social Security amount that is basically a freebie for everybody. And that total amount is $44,764. We subtract that $44,764 because that's the total income you could earn by your Social Security. And essentially what is left is the amount of additional adjusted gross income outside of your Social Security that you can earn in a year. If you are higher than this number, 85% of your benefit will always be the equation you can use. If you're lower than this number, you'll use the rest of this equation that we went over today. Let's look at a more realistic example. So let's just assume that your Social Security is $45,000. Again, your taxable Social Security benefit, if we just went off of 85%, would be that $38,250. So what would you have to earn in additional income along with this Social Security in order to be under this amount? Well, we run it through the same equation, and that number comes out to be $59,412. We subtract that by $45,000, and essentially the other income you could have on top of your Social Security can only be $14,412. If your other income is going to be higher than this amount, well, then the easy way to calculate your Social Security taxable benefit would be just to take your total Social Security and multiply it by 85%. So there is a lot that goes into calculating your Social Security, but more often than not, if you believe that you're going to have a larger Social Security check, you will most likely need to have a very small amount of other income in order for your Social Security, total taxable Social Security, to be less than total benefit multiplied by 85%. So if you have additional income and it's pretty high plus your Social Security, chances are to figure out what your total benefit will be is just multiply your total benefit by 85%, and that will be your taxable Social Security amount that will fall on your tax return in that year. It gets confusing, but everything with Social Security and taxation does. So I hope this provides a little more clarity to your situation. Until next time, PharmD Nation, happy planning.